From a trooper who drove straight into the suspect's vehicle at high speed, to a crazy shooting suspect in Arkansas, to a suspect who got himself and his friends trapped in a burning car, and many more. On December 15, 2023, in Audrain County, Missouri, the incident began at a Casey's convenience store in Ladonia, Missouri, where the suspect, 22-year-old Dominic Bosworth, and several friends had left a bonfire to purchase more alcohol. A concerned mother learned her then 15-year-old daughter was socializing with Bosworth and tracked her daughter's location via Life 360. Audrain County Deputy Ryan Teague responded and approached the truck. Bosworth quickly backed out of the parking spot, nearly hitting the deputy. Deputy Teague moved out of the path of the truck and began pursuit. Prior to the pursuit, 4 passengers were led out of the vehicle, including a 15-year-old and a 16-year-old.
Shots fired! Shots fired! You shot at me! I'm good!
Jeff Pizza, 18. He's got double tires on his left side.
296 Jeff, he just swerved towards me.
10-4. 296, can you in this? You're 10 Jeff, he's been pitted. 10-4, he's been pitted.
After a short but tense chase, the suspect's truck was stopped by multiple patrol units. Once deputies approached the vehicle, they found him unresponsive with visible wounds that turned out to be self-inflicted injuries. The suspect, 22-year-old Dominic Bosworth, was transported to the University of Missouri Hospital in Columbia, where he was pronounced deceased. One bullet had struck Trooper Gordon's patrol car during the pursuit, but thankfully the trooper was not injured. On March 11th, at approximately 4:05 a.m., officers with the Charles County Sheriff's Office responded to the report of a hit-and-run crash. When officers arrived on scene, the driver was no longer there, but a witness identified him as 50-year-old Darrell Bird and provided a description of the vehicle he was driving. While still at the scene of the hit-and-run, officers saw Mr. Bird driving a pickup truck at the intersection of Pinecone Circle and Huntington Woods Drive. The pickup truck was not the vehicle Mr. Bird was driving during the hit-and-run crash. Officers attempted to pull Mr. Bird over on Huntington Woods Drive. After initially stopping, Mr. Bird drove off, leading officers on a pursuit along St. Mark's Drive and St. Charles Parkway. On St. Charles Parkway, Mr. Bird lost control of his truck and crashed into trees along the side of the road. He suffered fatal injuries as a result of the crash and was pronounced dead on scene. No other vehicles were involved in the crash on St. Charles Parkway. What started as a hit-and-run investigation turned into a brief pursuit ending in tragedy. Darrell Byrd lost his life after fleeing from law enforcement and losing control of his vehicle just hours after the initial crash. On April 9, 2024, at approximately 1:30 p.m., a Clayton County Sheriff's deputy received a bee on a lookout from the Clayton County Communications Center for a Dodge Durango being used by a suspect after an aggravated assault, a person shot, later turned homicide incident in Atlanta, Georgia. The deputy was in the area of Forest Parkway and Highway 42 when he heard over the radio that a Forest Park Police Department officer observed the vehicle leaving the Quick Trip gas station on Forest Parkway. Forest Park PD attempted a traffic stop, but the vehicle failed to stop. The deputy observed the vehicle turn right onto Highway 42, traveling northbound. He positioned his patrol vehicle directly behind the Durango and activated his blue lights and sirens, and the pursuit was on.
We're going to be going about 100 miles per hour northbound on Highway 42. Stand by for the cross street. He's opposite side of the road. He's going to be northbound in the southbound lanes of travel.
Here's where it gets extremely dangerous. Speeds over 100 miles per hour, and a crazy suspect who is going all over the road, literally. The pit was very dangerous at this speed, but was it also good to let the suspect drive like that? That decision, however, is not easy. Let's see how our deputies decided to play it out.
Copy that. Highway 42 northbound, speeds about 90 miles per hour, passing Club Blaze. He's going to be going on the opposite lane of travel again. Correction, he's staying on the correct lane of travel. On the lane number 3, speeds about 90. Opposite side of traffic right now, going northbound in the southbound lane. Grant. Coming into a work zone currently. Right lane. Radio, we got a GSP unit out with us currently.
The deputy had a really hard time getting closer to the suspect, but now Georgia State Troopers also joined the chase, and we all know how good they are. With them involved, the job should be much easier.
Approaching Brownsmore Road. Copy that. Forty-one. Hands! I'm over six. Hey, go that way.
Put your hands up! Driver, hands! Put your hands up! Yeah!
I got killing himself.
The pit maneuver sent the suspect into the ditch, and when units approached the vehicle, they realized the suspect was not in the car. They found him shortly after, just a few feet away from the vehicle. He was unresponsive and was quickly transported to the local hospital, where he later succumbed to his injuries. On April 9, 2021, a Georgia State Patrol trooper was patrolling on Interstate 85 North, just north of Interstate 75 North, when he observed a white passenger car traveling at a high rate of speed in the HOV lane. He checked the vehicle's speed with his radar at 95 miles per hour in a 55 miles per hour speed zone. He also observed the vehicle fail to maintain its lane multiple times. The trooper continued following the vehicle until he located a safe place to initiate a traffic stop. The driver continued traveling onto Georgia 400 North in the left lane, then accelerated at a high rate of speed. The trooper activated his siren and advised Troop C Communications that he was now in pursuit.
They're getting off on Lennox. Stand by, stand by. They're hanging left on Lennox, almost to Atlanta 1050 vehicle fire, starting med and fire tonight, 10-10-18.
Trooper observed the vehicle he was pursuing overturned and on fire. The trooper immediately requested fire and EMS. He exited his patrol car and observed two occupants entrapped inside the burning vehicle. He retrieved his fire extinguisher and extinguished the fire to preserve their lives. Trooper Buffington observed another subject who had been ejected from the vehicle, laying next to the concrete wall. Atlanta Fire Department and Grady EMS arrived and pronounced the ejected passenger deceased on scene. They extricated the driver, Kenneth Poole, and second passenger, Detarius Minor, from the vehicle. Both were transported to Grady Medical Center. Mr. Minor later succumbed to his injuries. On December 4th, 2024, a Georgia State Patrol trooper was patrolling on Macon Road when he observed a silver Toyota Camry traveling eastbound and weaving within its lane. He ran the vehicle's tag, which showed the vehicle had no valid insurance. The trooper activated his emergency lights and sirens to initiate a traffic stop. The trooper exited his vehicle and began a driver's side approach. As the trooper almost reached the rear of the Camry, he observed the driver move his head forward toward the roadway. The driver then drove forward and away from him, initiating a pursuit.
Coming up on a red light, slowing down, traffic left, stopping, good right.
As he attempted to outpace the trooper, he nearly fully lost control in the process. He managed to recover somehow, but now the trooper was right behind him, and he knew it was only a matter of time before he got stopped. But he could not predict that it would be way worse than that.
Coming up on 22.
Clear, coming up on 22.
Coming up to an intersection. One car ahead of us. He's braking. I want to put him into the truck. He brake checked me on a 50-10, no contact.
The suspect began picking up really high speed, but the trooper managed to keep up with his attempts. The trooper, realizing the road was open and the suspect definitely had no intentions of stopping, lined up for a pit.
Don't jerk it. That's such traffic. Hit mile marker 14. Mile marker 14.
Clear, take mile marker 14.
On first sight, it was definitely not looking good for the suspect. And when the trooper approached, the second sight was even worse. He found the suspect unresponsive in the totally wrecked car. Trooper Sikora arrived on scene to assist. They checked for a pulse and found the driver's breathing was shallow. EMS arrived and quickly transported the suspect, who was identified as 18-year-old Kamari Gamble, to Piedmont Midtown in Columbus, but he was later pronounced deceased at the hospital. It was September 24, 2023, when a suspect driving a 2006 BMW with fictitious tags was observed speeding westbound on Interstate 30 and failed to pull over for an Arkansas state trooper. The chase began, and what followed would turn deadly in a matter of minutes.
25 and 37.
Surveyed, and that is 1063 around 25 minutes, 237 with the white BMW displaying Adam David Boy, 870 George, 135 exit eastbound 30.
No, we're going back. 30 westbound. These are 84.
10-4 back westbound, 135.
Once the BMW began pulling away, the trooper hit the gas, caught up to the suspect, and executed a pit right away, sending the BMW off the road. He exited the patrol car and would soon realize that the occupants were unresponsive.
Four, copy the
PD, I don't think we have any trooper real close.
Here's the moments the trooper realized that the driver wasn't even in the car and that he was most likely ejected. After a quick search, they found him, and he was unresponsive. EMS was requested, but the suspect, identified as 32-year-old Byron Brown, was pronounced dead on the scene. On June 9, 2021, Trooper First Class Brody Forrester was contacted by Sergeant Allen to assist DeKalb County in locating and apprehending a fugitive wanted for murder. The suspect, Terrell Gass, had recently shot his grandmother. Sergeant Allen provided information on the suspect's vehicle. Troopers Forrester and Michael Bailey responded to Godby Road, the last known location of the fugitive's vehicle. As they approached, the fugitive entered the Dodge Dart and began leaving. Trooper Bailey activated his emergency lights and siren, but the driver refused to stop. All three troopers attempted a box-in maneuver, but the suspect escaped. With the suspect entering the interstate, the trooper knew it was important to stop him right now, especially after he nearly hit a pedestrian on purpose, and knowing what he had done prior to the pursuit.
Nope, stay in 285. Pit, 943 is pit. 1050, he's still moving, he's still rolling. He's coming at you, 943, coming at you. Get on the ground, now! Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Do not shoot! Do not shoot!
Here's the moment the suspect opened fire, hitting the trooper in the arm. The troopers exchanged fire, hitting the suspect several times. He dropped to the ground. EMS quickly responded and provided care to the suspect while he was transported to the hospital alongside the injured trooper who was also wounded in the exchange of fire. But the only difference is that the trooper survived, while the suspect was pronounced dead at the hospital the same day. On July 28, 2023, Arkansas State Police was contacted to assist with a fleeing suspect after Marion Police Department initiated a pursuit in their city. Trooper James Garrett Bird caught up to the pursuit and became the primary unit.
280 on 40. Forgive me, I get turned around here.
Alright, I'm in the right lane, it's in the left lane. Is it Crown Vic?
And supposedly you're trying to assault an officer.
Alright, I'm primary, about the 283.
Trooper Bird executed a pit and completely wrecked the suspect's vehicle, sending it spinning out of control and overturning. But Trooper Stephen Roberts, who was catching up at a very high rate of speed, didn't see the suspect's vehicle in the darkness and drove straight into it.
Okay. Alright, I just about rigged out. I see the guys. I see the guys. Alright, you rigged out.
Roberts' patrol unit crashed into the passenger side of the suspect's vehicle at high speed. causing heavy damage to both vehicles. The suspect was pronounced dead after those two wild wrecks, despite all attempts to revive him. This is one more proof that running from the cops is not worth it. In Mayflower, Arkansas, on January 8, 2023 at around 1 a.m., Faulkner County Sheriff's deputies initiated a traffic stop on a vehicle driven by 53-year-old Michael Scotty Helton. Helton did not stop the vehicle and fled, beginning a high-speed pursuit. Faulkner County deputies and Conway police officers pursued the suspect into the city limits of Conway and onto Faulkner County back roads.
Battle Hill.
'67 Little Rock. See if Conway gives us some spikes. I don't know if I'll be able to hit him or not. Damn. We are east on over.
Speed 60, still eastbound.
The speeds were not the only thing that was dangerous in this chase. The suspect opened fire at deputies multiple times. Now, knowing he was armed and willing to shoot, deputies had to approach this chase with way more caution and way more different than they planned. Once he opened fire, more units were en route to assist.
Hey, shots fired. He's shooting in the air.
Shots fired, shots fired. South on East German. Still south. 60 miles an hour. No traffic. Up on 286. Eastbound 286. Still eastbound past Candy Creek, coming up on Simcoe. There's another shot. Coming up on Julian Drive, still eastbound.
Copy.
So go ahead and contact 6 as well, please.
The suspect continued fleeing and shooting at deputies, but now more units joined in, and that meant the primary deputy could execute a pit with backup right behind if needed. If that didn't work out, one state trooper positioned ahead was waiting with stop sticks. Agencies were slowly closing in on the suspect, and it looked like there was no way out for him in this situation.
Stand by. Just before Tower Road. Speed 20. Units operating. Spike.
Son of a...
Adam 11's trying to get around Joe.
But now, pay attention to this. The trooper spiked the suspect's car, but he also spiked almost every other police car coming after the suspect. Imagine telling your chief you spiked 10 cars with one spike strip, but 9 of them were also cops.
17 is now primary, I'm secondary. Hey, back off a little bit until we get up here. It's about to break down.
During the course of the encounter, Helton pulled out a gun, leading 3 state troopers and 1 Mayflower police officer to fire their service weapons. Troopers attempted to render medical aid, but Helton succumbed to his injuries on scene. What started as a routine traffic stop turned into a violent multi-agency pursuit with gunfire, ending with the suspect losing his life after firing upon officers and pulling a gun during the final confrontation. On September 14, 2022, a Georgia State Patrol trooper observed a white, older model Ford Taurus entering the southbound lanes of Veterans Parkway from I-516 eastbound. The driver had a cellular phone in his right hand at face level, messing with the screen with his thumb. The trooper activated his emergency blue lights and siren, attempting to initiate a traffic stop. The vehicle exited onto Chatham Parkway and failed to yield for the emergency equipment, initiating a pursuit. The driver immediately drove his vehicle into the southbound lanes, traveling north while dodging oncoming traffic. Suspect struck an Infiniti SUV that had a green light, and the impact caused his vehicle to hit the median guardrail and a third vehicle. The trooper arrived and immediately deployed his sidearm, approaching the suspect vehicle with a plainclothes Savannah police officer. The driver was not moving. Other occupants reported minor injuries. Officers attempted medical aid, but the violator was not breathing and had no pulse. Savannah firefighters arrived and began advanced life-saving procedures. The driver was identified as Javon Raheem Richards, was pronounced dead on the scene.